All right, in this session, we are going to talk about your calendar availability. So what do I mean by your calendar availability? When a customer hits your website and they're looking for an appointment, what does the customer see on your calendar? Or when a customer comes into the call center and the call center is trying to book an appointment for you, what does the call center see as available time on your calendar? So we're going to spend some time around this. Now, some important things to note before we get into the meat of it. Calendar, you manage it and you control it. So there's a basic principle here. As you put down some rules around your calendar. So I don't want to be booked for anything after 8 o'clock at night. I don't want to be booked for anything before 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to be booked for anything on Sunday afternoon. As you put some rules around it, one of the things for you to understand is that you have the ability to overwrite your calendar, but the call center of the website does not. So I'll give you a very quick story. I ran an appointment for a guy at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why did I run it at 2 o'clock in the morning? The guy called the office. He said, look, I need to get this flooring project done. I've got something here. Nobody will come see me because I work a really weird shift. And he worked some kind of funky 12-hour shift. And for him, the time for him to get stuff done was in the early morning hours. So he asked if there was any way possible for me to come give him an estimate at 2 o'clock in the morning. I did. Okay, you have to decide whether or not that's something you would want to do or not. For me, it was fine. I had a chance to talk to him over the phone. Sounded like a pretty good idea to me. Went, landed the job, and the reason that we landed the job was because we were the only ones that was willing to work around his schedule. Okay. Are you going to set it up so that by default, the website could book you at 2 o'clock in the morning? Probably not. Are you going to set it up so that the call center can book you at 2 o'clock in the morning? Probably not. I didn't either. The point isn't that you need to have availability at 2 o'clock in the morning. The point is that you, as a franchise owner, you can overwrite yourself. You can double book yourself. You can do whatever you want to your own calendar. What we're talking about right now is not limitations that you put on yourself. These are limitations that you are putting on the website or on the call center, what other people can do in your calendar. So this is all managed. Where it starts is it's managed by the Salesforce operating hours. And I'm going to show you in Salesforce how to get there. There's two different places that operating hours show up. And one of them actually does something, the other one doesn't. So it's important that we understand which one is actually doing something. I'm going to show you how you can block your calendar. So let's say that, there's a baseball game this afternoon that you want to go see, or, next Thursday, you need to take some time next Thursday afternoon. You're not going to go back and change your operating hours. It's just something that you're going to block inside your calendar. So we'll look at that. And again, we're talking about the slots that a customer has the ability to see on the website or slots that the call center can see. So by comparison, we're going to take a look at a couple of sample booking sites from 50 Floors from Empire and see what they can do for me. I will tell you that appointments that are booked 72 hours in advance or more have a high probability of being canceled. What does that look like? Well, today is Thursday, so I'm recording this on a Thursday. Let's just assume for a moment that I am in the market for new floors. So I go out to your website, I go out to an Empire website, I go out to 50 Floors website, and I start looking at appointment times. When can I get somebody to come and take a look at this? Now, I work a lot of hours. I work whether I'm at home and working from home, or I'm in the office and I'm working from the office. Even when I'm at home, it doesn't mean I can take an appointment at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm busy on Zoom calls. I'm doing things. I work. All right. So that being said, I am most likely to book with somebody that has an evening appointment or that has a weekend availability. Okay. So let's say that I go to your website and the earliest that you can see me is not this coming Saturday, 2 days from now, but next Saturday. All right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to keep looking. I might find an available calendar slot on 50 Floors. I might find something from Empire. And maybe you're sitting out there 10 days from now. Well, if I happen to meet with the guy from 50 Floors and Seems like they've got a pretty good deal and a pretty good price. And I don't know, maybe I say, you know what, I'm going to get another estimate. And the guy from Empire shows up, and I really don't want to work with him because he seemed, that was shady. I didn't want to do that. So I call the guy from 50 Floors back and say, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this. I don't want to wait around. Then your appointment for next Saturday gets canceled. Did you pay for that appointment? Yeah, you did. You spent marketing money to get that appointment booked on your calendar, and you never even saw the customer. So I will tell you that if you can book inside of 72 hours, even better if you can book inside of 48 hours, you've got a much better shot of actually keeping that appointment and having a chance to see that customer. But I want to see what this looks like today. So I haven't set this up in advance. This is always dangerous when I don't. Let's just see what happens when I go out to 50 Floors. Uh, 50 Floors, there's got to be something here. Yeah, here we go, 50 Floor. And I want to see if I can book an appointment with 50 Floors for this weekend. If I needed something done here in Atlanta, what could I get done? So let's hit the schedule now button up here at the top and see what kind of availability they've got. This is the same process that your customer is going to go through. They're going to Google somebody, they're going to come to someone. What's my closest city? Well, right now I'm in Atlanta because I'm at the office. So let's take a look at what I could do. Oh, good. They have weekend appointments. Okay, good. So I could meet with somebody on Saturday, and it looks like they've got plenty of availability. So maybe I want to go ahead and knock them out early in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Perfect. Have them come over. We'll take a look at the property and see what we can do. All right. So not bad, right? Not a bad customer experience at all. Let's just see what Empire could do for me. Empire today. Same scenario. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. All right, here we go. Oh, good, half price sale. Don't fall for that nonsense. I want to schedule an appointment. So I'm in the Atlanta area right now. What kind of property is it? It's a home. And let's hit continue and let's see what happens as I try to schedule an appointment. I don't know why I have to do this twice, but let's go. Continue to date and time. Thursday, Friday. See, these don't work for me. I can't work with that. So let's see what else they've got. Let's see. Well, I can't do Saturday. It looks like they don't have any Saturday appointments. Maybe I could do Sunday. Let's see what time they've got Sunday. 11 to 1. See, that doesn't really work. Couldn't do that. So could they do something in the evening maybe? Let's see. 3 to 5. See, I really need something after 5. What about Monday? Okay, all right. So I could do something Monday. I could pick the 7 to 9 p.m. slot. By the way, with Empire, this means that the design associate, their design consultant, salesperson, could show up anytime between 7 and 9 p.m. So I don't really know what time they're going to get there. I just know they're going to show up sometime between 7 and 9. Okay. The flooring professional will arrive within the 2-hour window. So that's not great. I'd much rather have an actual time, like you're going to show up at 6 o'clock. So then I'd be more comfortable picking this. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to pick one of these and see what happens. All right. So what's typically going to happen? So then maybe I go out to a Floor Coverings International site and I say, you know, what time have you guys got? If it's not until next week, it's very constraining. And you're going to find that for most people, they're looking for time slots that are in the evening or on the weekends. That's when you've got, you know, both spouses are there or both partners are there. That's when you've got people that are available. Evenings and weekends are prime time to be able to do in-home sales. So I want to spend some time and talk to you a little bit about managing this calendar. So there's no one that's going to suggest that you set your calendar up to be able to or that anybody actually wants you to run appointments 80 hours a week, but you're probably going to want to set your calendar up to allow for a lot of open time. So I want to maximize the opportunity to be found on the website. So it may be I take Sunday off, maybe Saturday mornings and Saturday evenings I take off, but it might be that I set my schedule up so that I could get appointments booked just, I mean, anytime. Now that doesn't mean that I'm going to actually work this many hours, but I want the website to be open so that I have the opportunity. I want to manage my appointment schedule so that I can maximize my time. For me personally, I only like to run 2 appointments a day. 2 appointments a day is plenty. If I run 2 appointments a day, I could get 10 appointments Monday through Friday, maybe another one on Saturday. I can still run 10 to 12 appointments a week if I only do 2 a day. So 2 a day is plenty, maximum 3 a day. For me personally, look, maybe you love sales and you absolutely love getting into the home. For me, it wears me out to do 3 in a day. So I can do 3, but to try to do like 4 appointments in a day, it just doesn't work for me. So you've got to decide what works for you. Your operating hours, this doesn't mean that this is locking you in to do this every week. Things are going to come in on your calendar that are going to block your calendar. But what we're doing is we're setting up your quote unquote normal availability, right? I'm going to show you where this actually happens. I'm going to do this in Salesforce, and I want to show you where there's some areas that that are confusing for people. So I'm going back into Salesforce again. And I'm going to go to someone's branch page. So I'm going to pick on Tony Sanders. I know Tony tends to have a lot of open hours. So let's click on Tony's branch. Your branch name, as you well know by now, is typically your last name. So this is Tony Sanders' branch name. Now, when you look at your branch page, there is on the beginning, on your branch, there is something called operating hours. These operating hours do absolutely nothing at all, okay? So when you're looking at the branch and you see operating hours, you're not in the right place. Instead, you've got to go to you, the individual, as a design associate, okay? And in order to find you as an individual from your branch page, if you'll scroll down to where you see this section called service territory members. So service territory members, it's like employee numbers or whatever. You'll see here, here's Tony Sanders. There's him as a person. This is his STM number. So to get to your operating hours, you're going to go to your branch. You're going to come over here to the STMs and you're going to click on your STM number. So go to your STM number. Now on your STM number, you'll see there's a box here for operating hours. These are the Tony Sanders operating hours, as if Tony Sanders was a design associate. Now let's take a look at his hours. So Tony's hours are set up so that on Mondays, he could take appointments from 9:35 to 8:55. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can see his hours here. By default, your appointment time, by default, your appointment time is 2 hours in length. 2 hours in length by default. It can be changed. The IT group can change it for you. One of the ops coaches can change it for you. But by default, your appointment time is going to be 2 hours in length. So this means on Wednesday, Tony could get booked for an appointment at 8:30 in the morning. Tony could get for his last appointment of the day at 7 p.m. So wait a minute, this says 9 p.m. because the appointment has to fit inside Tony's operating hours. So Tony could have an appointment that started from 8:30 that went to 10:30, 2 hours. He could have his last appointment a day that starts at 7 p.m. that would finish at 9 p.m. So when you're looking at this, this doesn't mean that he could get somebody can't book him for a 9 p.m. appointment. Somebody can't book him for an 8 p.m. appointment. The call center, the website could book him for a 7 p.m. appointment. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're setting your office hours, when you're setting your operating hours, you're setting it so that that last time is when that last appointment would finish, not when that last appointment would start. Let's take a look at a couple of other examples. Let's just see. Joe Jordan is a franchise owner in Texas. Joe's got a couple of design associates. And I want to come over here. Again, I'm not interested in the operating hours here. I want to come over and look at the STM. Erica is one of his design associates. So let's just click on her number and see how she's got her hours set up. So Erica Worley operating hours. All right, this is a pretty good set of availability. So she's got it set from 8:30 to 7:30. Now, the only downside to this schedule, it looks like she's got a lot of open time, right? But if the last appointment is 2 hours in length and it has to fit inside this, this means that Erica can only take a 5:30 appointment. That's the latest appointment that she can take. So if I happen to be somebody that gets home around 6, I'm never going to be able to book an appointment with Erica. So it might be worth Erica pushing that out to maybe 8 p.m. It's only an extra half an hour, even if it meant like 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. or something. Also, this doesn't mean that she's going to actually work 11 hours a day. There's going to be days that things get blocked off on the calendar. This is not your calendar. This is your availability. These are your normal hours, right? And she's got Sundays off, which is fine, right? So this is what hers looks like. Let's see. Who else? Who else? Let's take a look at Greg Severns. So Greg is a franchise owner. He's in Illinois. So let's take a look. Just curious. So again, when I look at the Severns branch, these operating hours do absolutely nothing. I want to come over here to the STM number and let's look at Greg's STM number. And then from here, I can open up his operating hours. Oh, this is brilliant. Look at this. So Sundays are off. Great. But he's got this set up so that he could take an appointment from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is the type of structure that you really want to see, because this means that you could book an 8 p.m. appointment for somebody. Does that mean that you're actually going to run appointments for 12 hours? No. Once I get 2 appointments booked on that day, I may block the rest of the time off for that day. I'm going to take care of other business. I'm going to do things. But I want, when a customer hits my website, I want for them to see the maximum amount of availability. Okay. Now, yes, once an appointment gets booked, that time gets blocked off. When you put in a meeting in your Outlook calendar, that time gets blocked off. When you put in a resource absence in Salesforce, that time gets blocked off. You're not going to come in and change this. This is the default, right? These are your normal operating hours, the most availability time. Could Greg go into his own calendar and book an appointment for 6 o'clock in the morning? Of course he could, but the website and the call center cannot. Okay, let's bounce back. So you're going to have things that show up on a normal basis. Like you might have a BNI meeting that shows up on a normal basis. So you can block your calendar different ways. You can go into Outlook and create a meeting and have a recurring meeting that blocks out that BNI time every week. You could go into Salesforce and create a resource absence. Or if you have something that shows up every week, you could set your calendar up like this. So you could easily drop a hole in like this that says, this is guaranteed every week I've got to go to BNI. So this would sort of dictate for me what my open time is. And in this particular case, this would automatically block out that time on Wednesdays every week. As your calendar starts to fill up, so Monday comes in, I get a customer appointment, Maybe you block your calendar for a personal appointment on Tuesday. Maybe you've got a field training call on Thursdays, BNI meeting. Every time this hits, it's just chunking out a little bit of time off of that calendar. So when you go in and look at your actual calendar in Salesforce, you'll see, oh, look, I've got a customer appointment. Here's something that came in from Outlook. Here's something that came in as a resource absence, okay? So let's take a look at the Salesforce calendar to see how all this pulls together. So we looked at Greg Severns. Let's jump into Salesforce for a moment. and I'm going to pull up Greg Severance's actual calendar. All right, so I've got Greg Severn's calendar pulled up here on in Salesforce. Okay, so this is for this week. Now, when I take a look at this, you'll notice even though Greg's availability, like his total availability is big time, on Monday he had an in-home consultation. So that would have blocked this time from 5:30 to 7:30. It would have blocked that from anything else being able to come in. This week, he's got something going on this afternoon. He's got something on Friday. So here, this is a resource absence that's been blocked for 30 minutes. That cuts that time out of his availability. So if you went to his website today to try to book something for Friday, that time is not going to be available. He's got some installation that he's got planned for Saturday, and he's booked the whole day off on Saturday. So I say off. Doesn't mean he's taking time off. It looks like he's got something that he's going on for the business. But the point is, if a customer hit their website to book an appointment for this Saturday, they would not see any time because this time has been blocked off on his calendar. Let's just fast forward to next week and see what we've got. So anytime you've got these meetings that show up from Outlook, for example, he's got a small group financial call with his ops coach. Okay, that's great. I'm not saying don't do it. Just be cognizant of the fact that now his Tuesday morning is completely blocked off because 8 to 9 he's got this meeting, and then 9:30 to 11 he's got this. You can't fit an appointment in that 30 minutes. So the earliest appointment that a customer would be able to book with him is going to be 11 o'clock. He's got in-home consultations booked. Okay, so I'm not judging his calendar. That's not the point. I'm just pointing out to you that as you've got these things that come in from Outlook, or you've got resource absences or whatever that you book, those things are going to block time on your calendar. So be careful. If it's something that you really want to block time for, then block the time, right? You have something that you have to do. It's a meeting you have to attend. Then that makes sense. Block the time so that somebody can't book the appointment there. On the other hand, if it's just a task that you need to do, don't put it as an actual appointment on your calendar. There was someone that had signed up to get these motivational things. You know, every couple of hours they get these motivational things, but they would come in as like appointments, and so their calendar ended up being completely booked with stuff that it wasn't time. It wasn't actual something that needed to block time. It was like a little reminder that was showing up. All right, so let's jump back and see where we're at. So how do you create one of these resource absences? How do you purposely block time on your calendar? Well, again, you can do it through Outlook. So if you create a meeting in Outlook and it syncs over to Salesforce, that'll block time. But let's say that you're in Salesforce and you want to block yourself like a resource absence. I'm going to be out this week and I want to block it. So you can click in the calendar, anywhere in the calendar. And just like we've been going here to create appointments, right? So you can create an appointment this way, but instead we're going to create a resource absence. Now, I'm not going to actually create this on Greg's calendar. I'm not trying to mess him up. But I'm going to walk you through the process. So I click on resource absence and hit next. And then this gives me the opportunity to create this resource absence. I can create it for an hour. I can create it for multiple days. So if I'm going to be out for 2 or 3 days, I can create it for multiple days, change the times, whatever you need. And then once you've got your time set the way you want, set it as busy, and I can hit save. Again, I'm not going to actually save it, but I can hit save. And when that gets saved, sorry, let's go back to the calendar. You're going to see it pop up as a resource absence, like this one, resource absence, or like the one that he's got on Saturday of this week, a resource absence. So this is our installation resource absence. I don't know if that means that Greg is actually installing the floor himself or what's going on. But anyway, he's got this time blocked off. He created a resource absence that even though his branch hours, okay, this doesn't change. Okay, this is his operating hours. In his calendar, he actually has Saturday blocked off. So you would not be able to see that on the website. Okay. So just a quick review. In order to get to your operating hours, you go to your branch page, you completely ignore this on your branch page. You absolutely ignore that. And instead, you come over here to your STM number. If you happen to be Greg, you would hit your STM number here. When you do that, that opens up you as a service territory member, you as a design associate. You can put in your starting address for the day. That's great. But your operating hours is right here. And when you click on these operating hours, that's what gives you the ability to pop these things in here. Now, this is pretty easy. I didn't show you how to do this, but it's really easy just to click and drag and make hours. And no, I'm not going to save this and mess Greg up. But it's very simple to create these hours in here and move them around. Okay, let's pop back. So some training resources. If after watching this, you're like, I still don't get it, I need more information, you can go to fciit.com. So let's see that. If I go to fciit.com and I search for calendar availability, or I search for operating hours, availability and operating hours, so I can come to fciit.com. I can search for operating hours, and Ryan has tutorials out here that go through the same thing that I just did. But maybe if you're confused with what I did, maybe his is better. Who knows? Availability or operating hours. How to edit your operating hours. Perfect. And this is the same information, but if you prefer to read it, whatever, that's good. And you can set your availability. And this is a short little video showing you exactly what I've already showed you. All right, I hope this was helpful. One thing that I would note, once you set up your operating hours, that is a signal to the call center and to the website that you are ready for business. So I would suggest that you don't set up your operating hours until you're ready to start booking appointments. So you're probably waiting until maybe a week before you launch. So if your launch is, is this coming Monday, then maybe it makes sense. But if your launch isn't for another month, you probably want to wait to do this until you're maybe within a week of opening. Now, once you're open, it's fine, knock yourself out. But you probably don't want, if you're not ready to start running appointments yet, you probably don't want to set your calendar availability up until you are. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and I wish you well as you set all of this data up and you get your business ready to open.